Hello, welcome to Bible study on Psalm 7 we're on today. So we're going to have a look at this. And as I was just starting to read Psalm 7, and you get this flow through that starts with David looking at people pursuing him. And let's just read a bit. And then what I want to do is put this context, because why is David thinking like this? What's going on? It says, Lord my God, I will take refuge in you. That's a great statement, isn't it? Save me and deliver me from all who pursue me. Or they'll tear me apart like a lion and rip me to pieces with no one to rescue me. Lord my God, if I've done this and there's guilt on my hands, if I've repaid my ally with evil, or without cause have robbed my foe, then let my enemies pursue and overtake me. Let them trample my life to the ground and make me dust, me sleep in the dust. Arise, Lord, in your anger. Rise up against your enemies. Awake, my God. Decree justice. Let the assembled peoples gather around you while you sit enthroned over them on high. Let the Lord judge the peoples. Vindicate me, Lord, according to your righteousness, according to my integrity, O Most High. Bring an end to the violence of the wicked and make the righteous secure. You, the righteous God who probes the minds and hearts. And I'll stop there. There's another sort of 8-9 verses, but I just want us to grab this bit because it seems quite a strange approach from David. He's looking at the people that are coming after him, and then he's saying, if I've caused this, then deal with me. And he's going, but I don't think I have. He's saying, I think I've had integrity. He's basically, I don't think these people should be chasing me. So Lord, you do your bit and protect me and be my refuge and deliver me. That's sort of the summary, if you like, of that little bit. And you think, why is he thinking like that? And how does that really fit together? And when you actually look at it, and you realise that David, and have a look at the culture that he's in and the understanding base, if you like, that he's got. So to do that, you'd have to go back to the 10 Commandments, and you could go, you've got the 10 Commandments, if you do this and this and this. And then there's a little bit which is highlighted particularly in Deuteronomy, and it says of those that are obedient and those that not just fulfill the law but have a faith towards God, and do the right thing towards God. It says, blessed are those who, and then there's a whole list of blessings that happen to those that are following God and following the 10 Commandments and have a faith towards God. And in that, it basically says about the righteous and those that are blessed, says your enemies will flee from you in basically all directions, in 7 directions. And then the next bit's about those who disobey God. And about those who disobey God, it basically says that your enemies will crush you, your enemies will come in on you. And really in the Old Testament, what was going on, the enemies of God they almost like formed a boundary to the people of God. And while the people of God were following God and putting God first, and particularly with their sacrifice, with their heart worship, when they were doing their best to live in the way of God, then they were constantly pushing the enemies back and creating space to live in the land. But as soon as they stopped obeying God, then the enemies, it's like they had permission to come and to steal and to destroy and everything else. See, that was the cursing. And you look through the Old Testament, there were a number of things like that, like leaders would rise up and to be like a trumpet call. The prophets were there. God brought his warnings in so many ways, and you can look through the prophets and you'll see that they'll prophesy. They'll say, if you turn your heart to me, then basically I'll bring you peace in your land. So that, for me, is the background. So when David here is praying, when he's saying, I'm going to take refuge in God. He's also asking himself another question, and there's a deep challenge, because he'll look at the law, that's his paradigm, that's his basis, and go, if the enemies are coming at me like this in all directions, there must be something that I've done. Otherwise, it has to change. And so he's going through this process going, okay, Lord, I am taking refuge in you. I am trusting you to deliver and preserve me. And he's saying, but, I guess he's asked the question, but he says, if I have guilt on my hands, if I am the cause of what's going on, then deal with me accordingly. But then he goes on and goes, I don't think I am the cause. He said, and he's like asking God to come according to his righteousness and according to his integrity, and to bring an end to what's going on and to make the righteous secure. He's calling on God in line with that blessing that's in Deuteronomy. And he then says this, he says, you, the righteous God who probes the minds and hearts. And you think, whatever we think or don't think, God knows the depth of who we are. And the great thing in the New Testament is the culture is different. The kingdom culture is, there's a fullness that's come, which we're called to live in line with the kingdom. When we don't, we have an easy route of repentance, put it right and get up and run again. And there's a recognition from heaven that the nature of being human is we're going to make mistakes, we're going to get it wrong and all that sort of stuff. And that's why Jesus came and has already covered all those things. So coming back to the psalm here, in the second part of the psalm, David's like, my shield is. He's talked about the refuge and the delivery. He says, my shield. The shield is his protection. He says, is God Most High. What's he doing? He saves the upright in heart. He said, you're my shield, Lord, because I'm a man who's upright in heart. He says, God is a righteous judge. And basically goes on and says he will deal with the enemies. He will deal with those that cause trouble. And that, I think, in the middle of what David was facing is quite a challenge, because I think you can easily become focused on what's the strategy. If you're in the middle of that place, what do I do? How do I approach this? And he said, this is the way I approach things. I approach them with my shield, who's my God. And the last bit of the psalm, verse 17, he lands, he says, I will give thanks to the Lord because of his righteousness. I will sing the praises of the name of the Lord Most High. And in landing there, he's not saying all the other stuff is dealt with. What he's saying, this is my focus, this is the way I live. And for us, I think sometimes when there's stuff going on, we have to make that same choice. As I've heard it said a number of times, while living on earth, we have opportunities to worship that we'll never get in heaven because of the difficulties that we face. So if you're in a challenging situation, it does sound trite, but it's not trite. Take the opportunity of, in your challenge, in your difficulty, and if you're facing pain of some sort, say, today I'll worship. And if it's a struggle for it to come out of your own heart, then put some music on, put some worship on, and allow an expression of worship to emerge, trusting God to be a refuge, to be a shield, to be a deliverance, and to be the one that will protect you and make you secure. Amazing psalm. So bless you. Thank you for being with me as we've gone through Psalm 7. Next time we'll be on to Psalm 8 and see what that's got to say for us. Have a great weekend. Bless you. Bye.